You ever feel like life done took everything from you? Like the world just keeps knocking you down and never gives a hand to lift you up? I'm talking about when the pain gets deep in your chest, when the mistakes of yesterday haunt the steps you take today, and you start wondering if there's even a way out. But listen close, because there is a way, there's always a way. It starts inside. It starts with looking yourself dead in the eyes and saying, I'm not who I used to be, and I don't have to stay that way. Life will try to break you, but it can't break your spirit unless you let it. Every scar, every fall, every heartbreak, it's not the end, it's the blueprint. Rebuilding yourself ain't about running from what you were. It's about learning from it, taking that pain and turning it into fire. It's about resin when nobody believed you could walk in tall, when the weight of the world wants to push you down. Today, we step into a space where excuses die, where the past don't chain us, and where our vision for tomorrow becomes bigger than our fear of today. It's time to claim your power, speak your truth, and start rebuilding from the ground up, brick by brick, heartbeat by heartbeat. Life don't come gentle. From the moment you take your first breath, the world starts testing you, pushing against you, showing you that nothing is promised. The streets, the homes, the classrooms, the jobs, even the people you love, sometimes they all seem like they're out to break you. And the truth is, they might be. But the first step in rebuilding yourself is acknowledging that struggle, recognizing the battles you faced, the nights you cried when no one was watching, the mistakes you made that left scars deeper than anyone else could see. Struggle ain't weakness. It's proof you've lived, proof you've felt, proof you've been in the fire and survived. Too many people run from it, try to hide from the pain, pretend it never happened, or bury it so deep inside they forget it's there. But the pain don't go away like that. It festers, it creeps into your mind. It shapes decisions without your permission. Facing it, naming it, owning it, that's the first step toward freedom. When you acknowledge struggle, you start to understand the weight you've been carrying. Maybe it's the weight of poverty. Maybe it's betrayal by someone you trusted. Maybe it's grief that never seemed fair. Maybe it's the shame of your own choices, the regret that haunts your waking hours, the guilt that whispers in the quiet moments when you're alone. All of it matters. All of it counts. And all of it deserves to be recognized, because denial ain't healing. Denial keeps you stuck in the same cycles, repeating the same mistakes, expecting a different result. But when you name your struggle, when you look at it straight and admit that life has hit hard, something shifts. There's a clarity that comes with honesty, a power that rises when you stop pretending you're okay and let yourself feel every hurt, every loss, every frustration, every fear. Acknowledging struggle also means understanding that you are not alone, even if it feels like it. Every person walking this earth has carried burdens, hidden wounds, battles unseen by the world. That doesn't make your pain smaller. It just reminds you that struggle is universal. It is a thread that ties all human beings together. Some people wear their scars openly. Some keep them hidden, but they are there, marking the journey of survival. And the truth is, when you stop denying your own struggle, you start seeing it in others too. You start feeling empathy, you start connecting, you start realizing that your hardships are not a curse. They are a bridge to understanding, a way to relate, a way to build strength that can't be given, only earned. The acknowledgement of struggle is not a one-time thing. It is not just a thought you have once and forget. It is a practice, a daily act of facing what hurt you, what broke you, what tested you, and understanding that those experiences shaped you without defining the totality of who you are. Every scar tells a story. Every mistake carries a lesson. Every loss leaves a mark of resilience waiting to be claimed.
It is about saying,
yes, I have been through hell. Yes, I have failed. Yes, I have been betrayed. But I am still here, and I will rise. There is a dignity in struggle, a kind of raw beauty in surviving, and it is the foundation for rebuilding yourself. Without this step, all the plans, all the dreams, all the goals can crumble, because they are built on a fragile idea that life hasn't tried to break you. Recognizing struggle, embracing it, letting it teach you instead of torment you, that is the true beginning of transformation. Self-awareness is the mirror you hold up to your soul, the unflinching look at who you are when nobody else is watching, the quiet reckoning with your own mind and heart. Before you can rebuild yourself, you got to know yourself, not the version the world sees, not the mask you put on for people to like you, not the version you wish you were, but the real, unpolished, raw version of you. That means seeing your strengths and your weaknesses, your light and your darkness, the patterns that keep repeating in your life and the habits that pull you down. Self-awareness ain't easy. It asks you to be honest when it's uncomfortable, to face the parts of you that you'd rather ignore, to admit the truth about your choices, your fears, and even the lies you tell yourself to feel safe. Most people avoid this step. They keep running, they keep blaming, they keep pretending they're fine while their lives spiral, but you can't rebuild if you don't see the foundation you're standing on. Knowing yourself gives you clarity. You start to notice why you react the way you do, why certain people trigger you, why old patterns keep showing up like ghosts you can't shake. Self-awareness lets you identify the moments where you've been sabotaging yourself, whether it's staying in toxic relationships, clinging to habits that harm you, or carrying guilt and resentment that have no purpose other than weighing you down. When you are honest with yourself, you begin to understand that your past doesn't control you. It informs you. Every decision you made, every mistake, every moment of pride or shame becomes a lesson, a map, a guide to who you are and who you can become. You start to see the root of your fears, the triggers of your anger, the shadows of your insecurities, and suddenly, choices you thought were random make sense. Awareness is the flashlight in the dark room of your mind. It exposes what's broken and what's strong, what's worth keeping, and what needs to go. Self-awareness also breeds responsibility. When you truly see yourself, you stop blaming the world, other people, or circumstances for where you are. But you accept that while life has thrown punches, you have been part of the fight. You understand that growth doesn't happen by pointing fingers. It happens by looking inward and asking, what part did I play? What can I change? How do I take control of my story? It's about owning your choices without shame, acknowledging your mistakes without despair, and embracing your potential without arrogance. This kind of honesty is hard. It's hard because it strips away excuses. It cuts through the noise of justification. It forces you to face the truth that the only real power you have is over yourself. And that power is everything when you're trying to rebuild. The power of self-awareness is also liberation. When you know yourself, you stop living for other people's opinions and start living for your truth. You see the illusions you've been chasing, the roles you've been playing, the expectations you've been carrying that weren't yours. You start to make decisions aligned with who you really are, not who you think you should be or who others expect you to be. This awareness sets the stage for transformation because it gives direction to your rebuilding. Without it, you're like a ship in the storm, drifting, tossed, hoping for change without knowing where to steer. With it, you can chart a course, set goals that matter, and take steps that resonate with your purpose. It's the foundation of all growth, the compass for your life, the key that unlocks the door to a stronger, wiser, and truer version of yourself. When you embrace self-awareness, you're not just surviving, you're learning, you're evolving, and you're preparing to rebuild on a base that won't crumble under pressure because it is built on truth, insight, and an understanding of your own power. It transforms fear into wisdom, pain into clarity, and confusion into intentional action. And once you have that, the next steps, the rebuilding, the rising, it all becomes possible. Resilience is that fire inside you that refuses to die, that voice that whispers, keep moving, keep fighting, even when the world is crashing down around you. It's the muscle you build by standing up after every fall, the strength you gain when every door slams in your face and you find another way forward. Life will try to break you. It don't care about your plans, your dreams, or your heart, but resilience is what makes sure you don't stay broken. To rebuild yourself, you gotta embrace resilience like it's part of your DNA, like it's the very thing keeping your heartbeat alive. Too many people confuse strength with never falling, But true strength is in the getting up, the refusing to let defeat define you, the learning in every hardship, and the courage to keep stepping into the fire even when it burns. Every challenge, every heartbreak, every loss is a test of resilience. When you face betrayal by someone you trusted, when opportunities slip through your fingers, when pain gets so heavy it feels like it will crush your spirit, that is the moment resilience is forged. It's in those moments when everything inside you wants to quit that your real power emerges. You see, resilience isn't some mystical gift, it's earned. It grows every time you decide not to give in, every time you refuse to let fear or shame dictate your actions. It comes from looking at the wreckage of your life and saying, I may be down, but I'm not done. I may be hurt, but I'm not broken. I may be tired, but I am still standing. Embracing resilience means accepting that pain is part of the journey. It doesn't make sense to wish life were easier or to pray for struggles to disappear. Struggle is the forge that tempers your spirit, the weight that strengthens your core, the friction that sharpens your vision. Every setback, every mistake, every rejection is not punishment. It's preparation. It's life teaching you how to survive, how to adapt, how to rise stronger. People who never experience hardship may appear to have it easy, but they miss the growth that comes from pushing through the impossible. Resilience is the bridge between who you were and who you're meant to become. It transforms suffering into wisdom, heartbreak into perspective, and obstacles into fuel for your climb. But resilience also demands patience. It's not just about bouncing back quickly. It's about enduring, persevering, and staying committed to your path even when the outcome seems uncertain. Sometimes rebuilding yourself means taking small steps over and over again, even when progress feels invisible. Sometimes it means showing up for yourself when nobody else does, believing in your own potential when the world doubts you, and trusting the process even when it hurts. That's the essence of resilience. It's not flashy, it's not always recognized, but it's the quiet power that keeps you moving forward when everything around you says stop. And here's the thing, embracing resilience changes your relationship with fear. Fear will always exist, but resilience teaches you to walk through it instead of running from it. It gives you courage not because the danger disappears, but because you know you can survive it, adapt to it, and grow from it. Resilience turns wounds into lessons, struggles into stepping stones, and loss into motivation. It allows you to rebuild yourself not just as someone who survives, but as someone who thrives in spite of everything. When you embrace resilience, you embrace life in all its brutality and beauty. You stop waiting for the world to be kind and start becoming the force that carries you through. And that's how real transformation begins. Letting go of a past is one of the past is one of the hardest battles you'll ever face, because the past has a way of clinging to your soul, whispering lies, replaying old mistakes like a broken record, keeping you trapped in yesterday when your future is waiting for you. Every hurt, every regret, every betrayal you've ever carried can weigh heavy if you don't release it. The truth is, you can't rebuild yourself while dragging chains behind you. You can't move forward with one foot stuck in the mud of what used to be. Letting go isn't about forgetting, pretending nothing happened, or excusing those who hurt you. It's about refusing to let those moments control the rest of your life. It's about taking the power back from your past, understanding that it shaped you, but it does not define you. The past is powerful because it teaches you lessons, but it can also trap you if you let it. People hold on to anger, resentment, or guilt as if carrying it somehow protects them, but all it does is keep the wound open. Holding on to the past is like trying to build a new house on top of a ruined foundation. You can hammer nails and paint walls, but it will never stand strong because the base is broken. To rebuild yourself, you must face the memories, the pain, the disappointment, and make peace with them. This doesn't happen overnight. It's a process of understanding why things happened, what role you played, what you could have done differently, and then choosing to release the weight. It takes courage to admit the truth and bravery to step away from what has held you back. Forgiveness plays a major role in letting go. Not because you're letting someone else off the hook, but because you're freeing yourself. Forgiveness is a gift to your own soul. Carrying grudges, replaying old fights, or wishing harm on someone else doesn't change the past. It only anchors you to it. When you forgive, you remove the chains and let yourself breathe, move, and grow. It's not easy, and it's not always quick, but the moment you release that burden, you feel a shift. A space opens up where you can rebuild, where hope can grow, where your energy isn't wasted fighting battles that no longer serve you. Letting go also means releasing self, blame, and guilt. We replay our mistakes in our heads like we're trying to punish ourselves, thinking if we suffer long enough, we'll learn. But beating yourself down doesn't make you stronger. It keeps you stuck. Understanding that you acted with the knowledge and strength you had at the time is part of healing. Recognizing your flaws, owning your mistakes, and choosing to learn from them allows you to stop living in the shadows of what you can't change and start walking toward what you can create. Another part of letting go is letting go of people who no longer serve your growth. Sometimes the past is tied to relationships, friendships, or environments that are toxic, draining, or unworthy of your energy. Holding on out of loyalty, fear, or comfort only prevents you from stepping into the next chapter of your life. Rebuilding yourself requires courage to step away even when it hurts, and to embrace change is necessary for your evolution. The act of letting go clears space for new opportunities, new people, and a life that aligns with who you're becoming, not who you were. Ultimately, letting go of the past is a declaration of power. It's a choice to stop letting what's behind you dictate the trajectory of your future. It's a recognition that pain, regret, mistakes, and losses are all chapters of your story, but they are not the whole story. The moment you release them, the moment you stop letting yesterday control today, you reclaim yourself, and that reclamation is the first step in building a life that is truly yours, a life shaped not by fear, resentment, or limitation, but by vision, courage, and freedom. Vision for the future is the compass that guides every step when you're trying to rebuild yourself. It's the light that cuts through the darkness of doubt, the map that turns chaos into direction, and the fuel that keeps your heart beating when the weight of the past tries to pull you down. Rebuilding isn't just about fixing what's broken, it's about seeing what could be, imagining the life you haven't lived yet, and believing that you're capable of stepping into it. Without a vision, you wander, drifting through days without purpose, letting circumstances and other people dictate the course of your life. But when you have a vision, everything changes. You start to see beyond the pain, beyond the mistakes, beyond the walls that have held you back, and suddenly the impossible becomes something you can reach for. Creating a vision requires courage because it asks you to dream bigger than your fears, louder than your doubts, and brighter than the shadows of your past. It means picturing a version of yourself that's stronger, wiser, freer, and more fulfilled than who you were yesterday. This vision doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be fully formed. But it has to exist in your mind, clear enough to pull you forward, strong enough to anchor you when the storm hits. Too many people live reactive lives, responding to what happens to them rather than shaping what happens through intentional action. A vision gives you the power to shift from being a passenger in your own life to being the driver, steering toward the future you choose, not the future that others hand you. Your vision for the future also demands clarity about who you want to become, not just what you want to have. Too often, people chase success, money, or validation without defining what success really means to them. A vision rooted in your values, your passions, and your purpose is unshakable because it doesn't depend on external approval. It depends on your commitment to your own growth. When you see the person you want to be, the habits you want to build, the life you want to lead, you start making decisions differently. Every action becomes intentional. Every choice becomes aligned with the person you're becoming. That vision becomes a lens through which you filter distractions, temptations, and doubts, so nothing that doesn't serve your future can derail you. But having a vision isn't just imagining it and hoping it comes true. It's about connecting that vision to action. A dream without direction is just a fantasy, and rebuilding yourself requires translating your vision into steps. No matter how small, no matter how slow, no matter how uncertain, it's waking up each day and asking, What can I do today to get closer to the life I want? It's taking responsibility for your trajectory, knowing that each choice, each effort, each moment of persistence compounds into the reality you're building. Your vision becomes a promise to yourself, a standard you refuse to lower, and a fire that keeps burning even when life gets hard. Vision also gives you hope when the present feels unbearable. When pain, doubt, or fear try to convince you that progress is impossible, your vision whispers that there's a life beyond the struggle, a place where your resilience and hard work pay off, a future that's waiting for you to step into it. It allows you to see that setbacks are temporary, that storms are passing, and that every small effort matters. It transforms suffering into purpose, struggle into motivation, and uncertainty into direction. Your vision becomes a shield against despair and a spark for courage, giving you the strength to rise even when everything in you wants to quit. Ultimately, vision for the future is not just a mental exercise. It's the foundation of transformation. It's the declaration that you refuse to be defined by the past, that you refuse to be limited by fear, and that you are willing to fight for the life you deserve. When you hold a clear vision, you build not just a life, but a legacy, a reflection of the person you were meant to become. And the power of that clarity changes everything. Action over excuses is the heartbeat of rebuilding yourself. Dreams, visions, and plans are meaningless if they stay trapped in your mind while life keeps passing by. Too many people get caught up in, I'll start tomorrow, I can't because of this, or it's not the right time, and before they know it, years have gone by and the life they wanted is still just a thought. Excuses are easy. They protect you from failure, from discomfort, from accountability, but they also chain you to stagnation. Rebuilding yourself demands courage to step off the sidelines, to stop talking about change and start living it, to take responsibility for the life you want even when it's hard, messy, and uncertain. Action, no matter how small, is what separates the dreamers from the doers, the survivors from the ones who truly rise. Every step you take counts, even when it doesn't feel like it. Movement matters more than perfection. You don't have to know every answer. You don't have to have the entire path mapped out. You don't have to wait for the stars to align. Progress comes from showing up consistently, putting in the work, and refusing to let fear or doubt dictate your pace. It's easy to overthink, to wait for the perfect moment, but there is no perfect moment. There is only the moment you decide to act. Every day that you choose to do something toward rebuilding yourself, no matter how small, is a victory. Every decision to move forward instead of staying stuck is proof that you are reclaiming your power. Excuses can't coexist with action. They are enemies. And the moment you choose to act, even imperfectly, you start breaking the chains that have held you down. Action over excuses also means taking responsibility for your failures and your successes. When you rebuild yourself, no one else can do the work for you. You can't wait for someone to hand you opportunity to fix your mistakes or to guide your steps. Real change comes when you own the outcomes of your choices, good or bad, and commit to doing better next time. Excuses shift the blame, but action accepts it and moves forward anyway. The difference is simple. Excuses keep you a prisoner of circumstance. Action sets you free. It's not glamorous, it's not easy, and it's not always recognized by others, but it's the only path to lasting transformation. Taking action also builds confidence. Every time you move forward, even when you feel fear, uncertainty, or resistance, you prove to yourself that you are capable. Action is the antidote to doubt, the medicine for fear, and the fuel for growth. Each step forward compounds into momentum, and momentum becomes unstoppable. The more you act, the more your vision for the future becomes tangible. The more you act, the more your resilience strengthens. The more you act, the more your past loses power over you. Excuses only delay this process, keeping you trapped in a cycle of regret, while action propels you into a cycle of progress and self-belief. Rebuilding yourself is not about waiting for permission, for the perfect time, for someone to recognize your worth. It's about moving, creating, and shaping your life with the hands you've been given. It's about deciding today that your excuses will no longer control your path, and that every decision, every effort, every step will align with the life you want to build. Excuses are easy, but action is freedom. Action turns thought into reality, hope into accomplishment, and dreams into a life that reflects your strength, vision, and commitment. Without action, even the clearest vision is just an illusion, but with it, anything is possible. Inner strength and authenticity are the foundation of rebuilding yourself. You can fight battles, climb mountains, and chase dreams. But if you haven't tapped into your own truth, if you haven't recognized the power that lives within you, everything else will feel hollow. Inner strength is not loud or flashy. It's the quiet fire in your chest that keeps you moving when the world doubts you, the calm in your mind when chaos surrounds you, and the courage to stand alone when no one else is by your side. Authenticity is the choice to live your life without masks, without pretending to be what others want you to be, without bending your truth to fit the expectations of the world. Together, strength and authenticity create an unshakable core, a center from which every decision, every action, and every dream flows. To embrace inner strength, you first have to know that you are more powerful than you think. Life will try to break you, knock you down, and convince you that you're not enough. But true strength comes from realizing that you've already survived more than you give yourself credit for. Every scar, every failure, every heartbreak carries a lesson, a reminder that you endured, that you didn't give in, that you are capable of facing the storms ahead. Strength is forged in the fire of struggle, in the moments when nobody believes in you, when the odds are stacked against you, and when fear tries to paralyze your steps. It is not born from comfort or ease. It is born from persistence, resilience, and the refusal to surrender to pain or doubt. Authenticity demands honesty with yourself. It asks you to stop pretending, stop hiding, stop molding yourself to fit the shape of other people's expectations. It is about looking in the mirror and saying, this is me. Take it or leave it. I won't apologize for who I am. Living authentically is terrifying because it strips away the illusions of control and exposes you to judgment, criticism, and rejection. But it's also liberating because it aligns your life with your truth. When you are authentic, you stop chasing approval and start chasing purpose. You stop imitating and start creating. You stop hiding and start rising. Inner strength and authenticity also go hand in hand with self-trust. When you trust yourself, your instincts and your decisions, you gain freedom from the influence of others' opinions. You can take risks without fear of judgment because you know that your worth is not dependent on outside validation. You can set boundaries, walk away from toxic influences, and pursue your path unapologetically. This combination of strength and authenticity makes you unshakable. It makes you resilient to criticism, immune to doubt, and fearless in the pursuit of your growth. It allows you to rebuild not only your life, but also your identity on a foundation that cannot be broken because it is real, true, and yours. When you embrace inner strength, you no longer rely on external factors to define your power. You stop waiting for others to recognize your value, and instead, you validate yourself from within. When you embrace authenticity, you no longer live in the shadows of who you think you should be, and you stop conforming to the expectations of a world that may never understand you. Together, these forces empower you to face challenges without fear, recover from setbacks without bitterness, and continue building a life that reflects the real you. Rebuilding yourself is not about pretending to be strong. It's about cultivating strength that comes from self-awareness, resilience, and courage. It's not about fitting in. It's about standing out because you refuse to compromise who you are. Inner strength and authenticity give you the foundation to face life's storms, to rise after every fall, and to move through the world as a person who is whole, unafraid, and unstoppable. When you live from this place, every decision, every step, and every action carries the weight of purpose and the power of truth. And that is the ultimate form of rebuilding yourself.